Hey guys, it's Doug here, coming to you with yet another video helping you transform from pawn to player in this game we call life. In today's one, guys, I'm going to be discussing my Starseed Origins. I was thinking of video topics, and I realized that I hadn't shared that much information about myself. I know it's a pretty common thing for spiritualists to do, to talk about their Starseed Origins. So let's have a fun discussion today. So I'm a Arcturian and Pleiadian hybrid starseed. Now this essentially, the hybrid, just means that I had an Arcturian parent and a Pleiadian parent. Now there's two different ways this can be. There's hybrid programs in which two races will merge their DNA for various reasons. Of course, those storylines are pretty distant to Earth, so that's not, of course we can channel more information about these type of things, but generally when we channel, we tend to try to stick to information that's more relevant to our current incarnation. So there can be these hybrid experiments, and then there can also be just products of love, meaning, there's parents from two different species that come together in union and produce a child. Now this is pretty common throughout the universe as well. As you move into the higher dimensions, there's a lot more loving and caring going on in general among a bunch of benevolent races. Of course, there's malevolent races too on all levels, but these benevolent races are a lot more comfortable with expressing their love and affection for one another. So it's beautiful for me to learn that, I have a Arcturian and Pleiadian product of love. That to me is pretty cool. Now what's interesting about, being a starseed is you can kind of get some insight into why you're programmed the way you are, or why you're interested in various things. Now, much like astrology or personality types, you're not really condemned to a specific fate, but they're interesting guidelines that can shed some light on why you are, in this current incarnation, of course. So for me, as an Arcturian, I really like technology, stats, and numbers, creative ingenuity, cartoons. Walt Disney, believe it or not, was an Arcturian, and he actually, one of the things one of the reasons, reasons I know that is because while watching really old cartoons once, I was hearing all this stuff from guides about, this is how the higher dimensions actually are. And I was like, whoa, what? Because you're just sitting there watching cartoons, and then you start hearing, channeled or psychic information, and it's like, whoa. And that was fascinating, and I later learned it was my Arcturian star family who was feeding that information to me, which is really cool. So I like that kind of stuff, and I love all that stuff. I like researching the specs when buying a new computer or TV. Always loved cartoons since I was a kid. Video games are a fairly modern invention in the grand scheme of humans. Same with the internet. So I'm like, I love all the stuff, and I get there's a lot of malevolent elements to it. A lot of the stuff was created by malevolent entities on this earth. However, technology is a tool, and all tools can be used for good and evil. So I do think ultimately you can have benevolent computing systems, and electronic devices that aren't so harmful. And that's the kind of stuff we'll get to explore in 5D and above. As for my Pleadian side, Pleiadians are very compassionate. They're very natural healers, listeners. So I guess in many ways why I'm drawn to, doing readings for people, listening to people, helping them out, is that Pleadian side. And it's pretty interesting to, see this play out too. This is common of a lot of star seeds, actually. But Pleiadians in particular, I find, seem to have, people will just come up to me and, start telling me their life story or, a certain traumatic thing that they're trying to work through. And it's interesting how these people rarely know me that well when they do this. So it's one of those things where you have these heart-to-heart conversations with people who you won't really know that well, and that's just kind of the Pleiadian way, how those things seem to happen and evolve very organically. So it's interesting, again, for me to know that. So, like, when someone starts spilling their guts, I can, oh, this is the universe at work. My role is to help this person by listening to them, holding space for them to be. So that's really beautiful, too, for me to know that. I know as a kid, or, even like a teenager, I, sometimes I would resent that, because that happened even when I was a kid, right? And, sometimes you just don't understand, why is this person choosing me to, unload all this baggage or whatever. But now I see it as a beautiful thing, because I think so many people struggle to have a place to trust or be open. So if I can hold a space for even one person, I think that's beautiful, and it kind of ties into my mission here as a starseed. So if you guys have noticed throughout the video, I have been mentioning kind of these benefits of now that I know my Starseed origins, things in my life make a lot more sense. So one of the things I encourage everyone to do is to learn their Starseed origins. Now you can simply ask your guides for this information. Of course, you're always capable of channeling on your own. And you may just be very drawn, right? Like you look up Syrian starseeds and then bam, that's it. You just can intuit it. However, some people do really find it helpful to get a confirmation. So I do offer starseed confirmation readings. I'll leave a description to this where you can order one of these services below. It's a really cool way of just getting that confirmation. Say you're not completely thrilled with your ability to channel just yet. You want that extra vote of confidence. I'm happy to provide that for you. And there's tons of extra value that goes into that. Just basic starseed facts. And just some encouragement, that you too can reach out to these star family members and talk to them, because they're all, in my experience, starseed family members are basically always spirit guides for, some of the beings who are incarnated here. So if you happen to be a starseed, most likely you have some of your family members already on that guidance council. But anyway, guys, that's about it for me. I just really hope you enjoyed this brief discussion of my Starseed origins. Feel free to share your own origins down below, because that's really interesting to talk about, right? We don't always have room or people to talk to this stuff about with, right? So it is kind of fun to have these spiritual discussions with people who get it and understand. Alright guys, anyway, that's it for me. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, have fun out there. Take it easy, guys.